So I'm sorry that I've been gone. As you guys know, I'm going to try my hardest to get on here more once I move, but before then I'm just dealing with some health issues and some energy issues. So I've been completely exhausted, and I found out that I have an infection, and so I've been just dealing with that and trying to get the energy to even pack up my house. So I was going through Summer's readings today in my mind, and I don't know, something kind of caught my eye, clicked, and I wanted to do a reading to see if I could validate what I was feeling and getting and sensing. So this is going to be Summer Wells number 3 reading, 10/17/21. I did it tonight. So information that comes in can be past, present, or future. Things can be symbolic or have multiple meanings. Sometimes I get interconnect, so not everything will fit her, although my readings have become much more focused. I need to explain a few things looking back on prior readings. Sometimes things don't mean what we think they mean, and spirit will skip around, so it's not always in line with what happened. Like, it's not always this happened, this happened, this happened. Sometimes they skip around. After going over my other readings and seeing what I got this time, there are a few things I need to clear up. One, I think that Summer showing me her in water drowning or whatever was her telling me she's in water and in the area. I think it was her validating that, because I've had other cases where they show me them floating in water or in water, underwater, like she did, so it's because they are in water. 2, I think that some of that could have been symbolic, but yet I do think that C and H did mess around. And also the part on the pendulum that said she never left alive was because she didn't. Because she wasn't alive, I don't feel when they went there or something similar to that. If you go back to the very first vision I got was a river. The Holston had come in, or H. I didn't realize at the time that the Holston River is at Warriors Park. I've learned to always go with your first instinct, and I've always felt warriors. I think I posted on my wall on YouTube. It needed to be looked at. I mean dived. I'm not sure why I'm getting the wells unless it's a sinkhole. I got that again in this reading. I have some epitomes after reading over my readings, and then I needed one more reading to validate things that were coming in or that I felt. As far as an accident, well, I'll explain why I feel that came through. It's hard to understand sometimes why spirit shows certain things. We have to remember that it's like playing charades with us. So we see things and may think they mean one thing, but they mean another. Keep in mind, we are human and we are connecting to a different realm. And they also have to translate what they're trying to say. And they're not going to always give us everything. They give us what they feel is important. But keep that in mind. It takes some work to figure out the whole picture or what spirit is trying to say in these cases. That's why most of the time I do multiple readings. And oftentimes it becomes clear after they are found or things become clear in a factual sense. Then we understand what they were trying to say in the reading. I do think the river I saw in the very beginning was trying to lead me here. And back in my readings, there are tons of clues to what I got this time. I just didn't get it, or it just didn't click. Sometimes it does take time for things to make sense to me, or click. Like, I'm a little slow. So things in readings are not always what they seem. But now seeing as how Spirit has showed me them in water, the pain to my head, this reading now makes sense. I know that it can be confusing. I'm trying to explain best as possible. It's not easy to put all the pieces together, but I feel this reading is accurate and I have a location. So keep in mind, when thinking of my pendulum questions, has to be worded right, and again, they're an extension of me. So I don't think she was alive when they left, or even when they got there, and I'll explain, we'll see it in the reading, but I'll tell you what my reading said. Oh, and I need to say, since people make such a big deal out of me reading, I'm reading my reading. Like, I do my reading with my team prior so that I can go deeper. If I do it live, I can't focus. So, those that follow me know that I do my readings prior, and then I come here and tell you what I got. So I do everything in typing because I channel much better as I type, because I can focus and get deeper. And that's how I opened up to do all of these. That's how I opened up, was auto writing. That's how I first began my gifts. So it's become a thing where information just flows better if I'm typing. We all connect differently to spirit, and this is how I connect. So this is how I do my readings. This is even how I do my private readings through typing, is what I prefer, because I can give the best readings possible that way. Also, also, if you hear a bird or birds, know that I try to pause it and fix it. But I mean, and they're agreeing. As long as you can hear the reading, no need to complain. I mean, we live a life, we have things around us, that's just the way it is. Also, things that come in the reading, maybe things around the area or places you pass, etc. Remember, we are trying to connect the dots here, and spirit is playing charades. And remember, it's a kid. If a kid says something like maybe they're in water, maybe they say drowning because that's how they took it, or that's how they look at it. It's how children word things a little differently, I've noticed. So yes, they have old souls, but still channeling a child. Some are easier and some are harder. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. This is for entertainment purposes only. These are only psychic medium impressions, and they are not fact. Any information as to reach me is down below, including if you'd like to send donations. You don't have to. It's just there. Now on to the reading. Okay, so I wanted to do a reading to see, because some things just clicked. You know how readings aren't always cut and dry and skip around, and I think that's what happened. I was saying this to my team before I went into the reading. And I think that's what happened with some of it before. The timeline is also off. Also, I've always felt something isn't right about it. I think she was gone in the milk jugs picture and on the way to dispose of her. There's something off with it all, and I think H knows more than we think, and I'm getting a headache at this time, and actually I am getting a headache right now, right in the back of my head. She always comes in with a headache, so I just can't put my finger on how, though. Like, I want to say she was gone when they went there, because I don't see them going back. That would just be dumb. Like, this whole thing is made up. Like, things are made to look a way that they aren't, because they keep getting shown, like the morning, like early morning, like 10 o'clock, and then the time of noon, and then later it was like the time of 3. So I don't know why those times make sense, but I keep hearing yelling and getting mom with the temper. I think that this happened at the house, though, and I'll tell you why, but I don't know. Okay, so Summer had ADHD. I get that with the kids, they were abused in one way or another, mentally, physically, and SA. And D is an innocent in that. So there's a lot that went on in that house, if the walls could talk. She talks about being rough, says mommy was always drunk, mommy had short fuse. I feel the way that she disciplined them was over the top. And when I got this, I was reminded to when somebody said that she made the boys lay on the blacktop. That's what it reminded me of when I got that in the reading. I get a reference to being backhanded for mouthing off, but not really mouthing off, but she took it that way. I hear as I'm typing that I tried to seem as happy as I could. I was struggling inside. I feel Summer was picked on more than the boys. Summer had a problem of listening, and that goes with ADHD. She very much didn't listen a lot because of being hyperactive. My son is also, and it's tough, and I understand that very much. She's like my son in that way. You have to tell her things multiple times. And Candace didn't have the patience for it. Candace has some sort of mental disorder. I think she's bipolar. And there might be even more to that. But that's just what Spirit told me as in one of the things. And I think she drinks and does drugs, and I definitely see pills. She's definitely one that isn't sober most of the time. She just keeps showing me, Summer, that she's hyper, and she's just being hyper in my head. So my head was killing me at this time. Something happened with her head and neck. That's always come in. And my chest was hurting too, and I hear the words beaten. And not with hands, but she was hit just right, and it was with one sorry, something in my throat. And it was with one of those times, Mom kept asking me to do something, and I just didn't listen. I just don't listen. And she lost it. In my vision of her floating in water, I think she was showing me that she was in a lake or water. I've always gotten river, and I didn't realize that this area, basically the river runs into it. But I've always felt some water. I've had spirits show me before that when they're in water, they are floating or under, and I think that's what that vision was about that I got. And we thought it was something else. The struggle may have been symbolic, and even them going there, I mean, sometimes our mind can interfere, but I feel like I'm driving, okay, like I'm Candace, and I'm standing over Summer, and I've got blood on my hands, literally and figuratively, and I've really effed up, and I start pacing on what to do. I feel like she kind of like loses it at that point, like crying, and I don't know what I just did, like I can see it in my mind's eye. She's kind of freaking out, and I need to take, and my face is like hurting now, so Summer must be here as I'm doing this, telling you this reading, but it's like I need to take whatever I use, which is some type of tool. It's got a long handle. That's all I kept seeing. I don't know what kind. That part wasn't clear. And I wrap it in a blanket, and I'm grabbing things from the shed. Maybe why the shed came in before. And I think it's rope. I don't know. I see something that looks like rope. It's wrapped up like this and then tied around. And something else. Maybe a large rock. And I'm driving. The 30 minutes. I got that before. Now remember, that's the same because I did get 30 minutes. I didn't realize that this area, Warriors Park, is 30 minutes from the house. 32 to 35 comes in, but I'm going around more 30 to 32, around that time frame, which matches before. So as I'm typing, I hear king. That's kind of odd. I don't know why. So odd again. I see the river. My chest is hurting, and I feel like I'm in the back of something and I'm being driven. Now, in a way, it was an accident because she didn't purposefully do it. I feel like she just seen red and raged out, and she was done. It was like, oh crap. That's very much what it feels like, where maybe the accident comes in because it wasn't like she planned to do it on purpose. It just happened. Okay, I'm in the car driving. I hear Warriors, so I'm asking if she's at Warriors, and I hear yes. And in my head kept going like this. It was weird when I was doing the reading. I've never had it do that before, but it was literally shaking yes like this. So that was my validation. So I hear she's drowned me, and I'm like, what do you mean? And I think she meant like submerged, and I think that's why people were getting drowned before, because she's a child and she's trying to explain that now she's in water. So I think submerged because I see her in water again, similar vision to before, coming from a child, a kid. I can see why she's saying that. And I think the H knows something. There is something very weird about the timeline that I'm not getting. Either, like, they... See? She wants to be involved. They prop her up on milk jugs, and I think she was gone at that point. I think she was gone, and they knew it. Grandma knew it. H knew it. And they were all in on the disposal and alibi, I hear. They were only driving around with her in the milk jugs. She must have been disposed of after that video. Because I see them driving around. And again, the timeline is off. Somehow, remember, things skip around. some things skip around. So I don't think any part of her story is true as far as they were home and gardening. I'm not sure Summer even ever came back. I think when they left that day, it was to dispose of her, is how it's coming in. Okay, so it's weird. I know it kind of doesn't make sense. I can get the timeline is all screwy because I feel like this part happened at home only because I feel like I'm beat with something you find at home, then driven later. But all this was done to make things seem like they went to the lake and had a good day, is the way it's kind of coming in. Now, I don't know. I don't know. That would be how it would have to be, I guess. With the way that factually we know of the timeline. So, if I'm making sense, I think the reason the pendulum stated that she didn't leave alive is because she wasn't and she didn't, if that makes sense to you all, as it's also jumbled. I also feel like I'm tied to something, dropped in the water. I can hear like water bubbling, then something when something sinks, you know how the water bubbles and is dropped in water, like when something's going down the bubbles come up, like I was getting that. And I was just seeing like she grabbed something nearby that she hit her with, but the water feels deeper, part of the lake. So that's, I don't know, it could be Patrick Henry. I've gotten Patrick before, so it makes me wonder. It's called lake, it's called a lake, and it's deeper, and she did say lake, like not river, but she showed me, I've seen a river since the beginning, and I think that was to lead me there. The river does run into the lake. So, and I just see a log cabin, so there may be one in the area. I wonder if there's a train or something by there, because that's coming a lot. Because I feel like maybe you pass over train tracks or something. I don't know. And you guys, when I worked with my pendulum, when I was working on this, it would circle around 81, and that's in this area. So I mean, it maybe it was right when I thought it was wrong. But cabin did come in. I could see the cabin very clearly. So there must be one in the area or something. I get a lot of trees and grass. It smells musky. And I don't know, for the first time ever, there's a waterfall. As I'm typing, I see rain. So I don't know if maybe there will be rain if she's found. I'm not really sure why I'm getting rain. That was coming in as I was typing. But I saw it hitting the water for some reason. So it smells musky but sweet. But I feel she's next to the embankment. And when I see waterfall, she's taking me to that famous video of her in the waterfall on the rocks. So I don't know if that's to validate this area or what, because I keep seeing that video play. But this is a very secluded spot, I think, surrounded by trees. She shows horses. They're running, like she showed them to me running. She showed me specifically a Palomino because that's my favorite horse. But she shows me, there's an embankment, how it goes into the water. That's what I see. It's close to her. I don't think that Dee knows where she is and what exactly happened. I think he knows half the story. And maybe she came off with saying that maybe she's got him believing it. Because for some reason, I don't think that he really knows. There's something to do with construction. You know how when they lay down the foundation in concrete before they build something? I keep seeing that. So I'm not sure. It's either in the area or you pass by like a new house or something, like a new house is being built. So I don't know why she's showing me a snake, but I saw a green snake. Could be the river, looks like a snake. I don't know if that's what that is, but she kept showing me a snake. So I don't know if it's a trail or something, but I kept seeing horses running. And I think the day that the horse ran up the road was a sign from Summer. I've always thought that. But she's showing them to me now. It could just mean horses, but she shows them to me running. So I'm trying to see what else is around. I think the way that you get there is how I saw and was mentioned in other readings. You do pass by bays and you would get off the road to the right. So that would match if you're going this way, if you're looking at the map. Because I always get visions like I'm looking at a map. You would get off and get there. It's the right placement. I'm feeling nauseous at this point, and there's a brown sign for trails, but I go to my right. Secluded area, there's a reference to tire tracks in the mud. They're going to need divers. Now they need to drag the crap out of this area, but the water isn't moving in the area I see, so it's still. So it's a place with still water. I know lagoon came in before, so it's possible, but it's a place with deep water. So the river I saw must be Warriors, like I was saying, because from the very beginning I saw it twist and turn and goes into a larger area, which this does. And I think that's what she was trying to show me before, and I didn't realize it. So I feel like she's dropped right off the embankment. I got riverbank before, so that would fit. Just dropped her right off. 26 comes in. I think you passed by that. There is a color red that comes in for some reason. It's not the same place they supposedly went swimming. I wonder if it's by the dam or that's to validate, because I'm getting a dam, which was weird because I got that in the boys before. Summer went missing. Could interconnect. So my other reading with her messing with H, that was correct because she did. I think the floating was her trying to tell me she was in the water in that area. It wasn't what I thought, which some readings aren't. I find out later. It's usually not what we think they mean. I found that out a lot in my readings, but now I get it. And as a kid, explaining it makes sense now. That's why I do multiple readings, to try to get the big picture. But she always presents with a headache, so she's got a lot of head trauma. And she says bruises were covered with makeup. Like, in my ear, I felt pain in the ear area, but it's either makeup or editing, but she showed me makeup. So they all have their stories straight with one another. It's so weird with the makeup, but like, this stuff was done to cover up her F up. She says I'm in the lake. That's why I always felt water. So now, that was weird timing of that. So now the well, I still feel, so I wonder if there are any around there, or I guess it could be sinkholes that are like wells. But because the place I see her, maybe the cabin is sort of broken down. But I get graffiti, I'm not really sure why. And she says, I've gotten that all along, so there's got to be graffiti somewhere that you pass or by there or something. I know I was hard to handle at times. Oh, I'll reread this. Let's see. And she says, I don't understand why. I know I was hard to handle at times, and I know my mommy wasn't nice to me, but I still loved her. So that was heartbreaking when I heard that. And she kept showing me a snake, so I don't know why that came in. Like I said, it could be the river, it could have another meaning. But she keeps making me feel they did this, all this driving, all this storytelling, and everything to protect Candace's butt. But like I think Grandma knows, I'm just having a hard time with the timeline. Things don't fit or add up, and I'm trying to see how, but it's like all over the place. Like maybe Summer doesn't really know, because it's like, it's all jumbled. Things don't fit or add up, and I'm trying to see how. Like I said, all over the place. So it's like I'm driving here, I'm doing this, I'm driving here, I'm doing that. Like she was staged in the car, so when they dropped off H in those famous milk pictures, H is afraid to tell anything, but I think he knows, obviously. And I'm typing, she shows me long pants and stuff. Like I know she had that on, but I think that was to cover bruising and color change, like is what she was showing me for. So asking if H helped, I got a yes, and then I got the number 3, so 3 for all of them, knowing something or being involved in somehow. Candace is a pathological liar, and this is so easy for her because she isn't wanting to go to jail. She thinks she's going to get away with it. No body, no crime is what she's thinking to herself. That's why she did it this way. She's still drinking heavily and doing drugs. She says, I'm glad my brothers are safe. That's what Summer says. If nothing else, this happened so that they could be safe. So because this happened with Summer, they were taken, and so that's what she's saying. That she's glad that they were taken because now they're safe. Because no one knew what was going on in that house. But she had said it was hell on earth before, so. And I feel like it changed. I feel like it wasn't always like as bad, but it got worse. The oldest one is coming before, so he knows something. She's glad they're out of that place, and there she goes. She says it was hell. The words hell on earth. So that's how she felt, and I hope they check the boys for SA. So there's grass and trees. It's sort of muddy and an embankment, like she just dropped her off, and this area is hidden. And I kept seeing tire tracks in mud. I doubt if they'll still be there. I don't know if maybe that's just an area that has them, but I saw that when I did Cassie's reading. This is the second time I've seen it. And when I did Cassie's reading, if you look back, that was what I told the people. They saw that and they called the police. Police came with dogs. Don't ask me how they got them to listen. And they were able to find her that way. So it must be significant. Maybe it's significant because of that. I don't know. She kept showing me bruises. I think I already said that. Sorry. So, as I was typing, she was showing me her sitting with an orange cat in her lap. Now, this makes me wonder if she's showing me one of hers, or, maybe just saying, I loved animals, which we kind of know that. I'll never tell you anything unless I see it in a vision. If I hear something or whatever, unless I get it from Spirit, I don't say it. So, just so you guys know, I don't say nothing unless Spirit shows me or tells me, even if I know about it. So she was showing me that, and Simba that passed away was orange, so I don't know if that's why she's showing me, but it was very sweet seeing her like that. But she's showing me sitting her in with this cat in her lap, and she's loving on it. And I already knew she had a deep love for animals, so that's something we have in common. But she's showing me now that they never drove and searched the water. They need to, for crying out loud. Thing is Candace has been giving hints all along on where she is. And I'm seeing the brutality of this. I didn't see it before. It wasn't shown before. Maybe she wasn't ready to talk about it. I don't know. Sometimes Spirit isn't. And I've let time go by thinking that I could get more information, thinking I could get a better reading, and then this is what I got. So I'm thinking that maybe she wasn't ready to talk about it. Maybe she wasn't ready to go and show anybody or show me. But the brutality of it is pretty brutal. She just lost it, went off on her. So sad. The tool is in the water too, so I've always said around 30 minutes. I didn't realize that Warriors was, but if you remember way back, it's correct timing away. And here is Neo. And then I'm just going to mention, because I put it on here, the reference to mud through tire tracks. And then, like I said, I explained that already. So she's absolutely nowhere near the house, and see, we've looked in this area before so much, and I've left it before because I didn't understand. I didn't understand why she would put her in a place that they were known to be. And maybe she's thinking no one will look there because of that reason, but that's why I wasn't looking there. But she's saying before, but now, she was saying that before. I didn't understand, but now I do. So all along she's been trying to tell me she's there. With her floating, it made it seem like it happened that day and she drowned, but she was showing me that's where they put her, and maybe she thought, like I said, being put in water, drowning, little kids explaining things, and maybe my mind interfered a little bit with what I was thinking at the same time, because we can do that sometimes. It's easily done. You can ask anybody. So I try not to let that happen, but sometimes it does, especially with cases if people are telling me things or whatever. So she was showing me that she was already deceased, I guess. I don't know. The struggling can be symbolic, or my mind took over. Not perfect. So I feel nauseous. There's a reference to a lot of trees and grass. Everything was all staged. It's more clear now than it was before. Sometimes things come in a little jumbled up, especially with kids. So I don't know. Some kind of long-handled tool comes in, and also her hands. But that's about it. And it was like she gave all this info and then just left. There was no ending or anything like that. So, other than I know that... See, I've got a headache still. She's still here. But, they usually stick around when I do videos and when I tell you guys the readings. Because sometimes they add during and sometimes they add when I type it up. But I just always get a major headache with her. And I've got one now. And she just... I know one thing is she's, like, thankful for the people that haven't given up looking for her. But there's a bigger purpose to all of this. I think there's going to be something bigger eventually that comes out of this. I know that some places they give laws and stuff. There's going to be something about, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but that's only coming in right now. So, she's a strong little girl for a kid, for a child, but she drains me really badly, and she makes my head hurt like crazy. So definitely she's got some head injuries. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this video will help. I don't know, that the water needs to be searched over there, and the only way you're going to do it is with a dive team. So maybe Adventures Without a Purpose, or somebody can go and get a dive team in that area. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. The only reason I can think is because they probably kind of believe that someone took her. They haven't ruled it out yet. And then because they're probably not thinking that she was, I know they searched it, but I don't think they dragged it. You know what I mean? And it's so large. I'm hoping that my clues can kind of narrow it down a little bit. So, anyways, thanks a lot. See you guys next time.